Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of FOMO. I have with me my co-hosts, Gaurav Thapar and Ruchira Jain. So today's episode, we're going to talk about coffee. Coffee, as we know, there is a exponential rise in interest in coffee in current times. And of course, coffee has seen different waves over the years. It used to be a novelty before. From there, it changed more into a commodity. And then from there, when mostly it was functional, from commodity it changed to more about the culture, which is almost like a wave that we are experiencing right now, to more going towards craftsmanship. Gaurav, why don't we start with you? Why don't you talk us through that, how coffee is evolving, where it has come from and where it is going as far as these different waves of coffee are concerned?
Sure. So first up, let me admit that I'm not a coffee person. I'm not like the coffee person. Whichever wave you're experiencing in coffee is all about, as you rightly said, the science of coffee. How do you kind of roast your coffee? What blend uh, are you going to use in the beans? Which is what the fourth wave actually speculates, that from just consuming evolved coffees in a cafe, I'm going to now start asking myself to create this coffee experience, this fourth wave coffee experience at home also.
When you watch the show Friends, and then you see everybody's hanging in that Central Park in that coffee space, that used to be like the epitome of this is what coffee symbolizes, connecting. We have coffee with Karan now, which is like more of the connections, that in the Indianization of that whole connection over coffee. Why is Gen Z so obsessed, and what is this coffee proliferation of these coffee shops, and people consuming coffee in these myriad ways? How is that connecting back to Gen Zers and their daily lives?
I think the need states for food and beverage start all the way from wake me up energy to daytime energy and keep me going kind of energy, to moments where you're looking for change of pace or change of taste. And then finally, a demand moment called make a moment. Starbucks is known for the entire personalization strategy, for example, right? Other brands are doing it by a lot of sensorial, the dramatics around the way you actually even give the coffee. So if I talk to coffee enthusiasts, all of these moments are equally relevant to them. But I think the one that gets the most attention and the most talked about is when we are in a social space, which is typically when either I am meeting someone or I'm out and about. That time it takes on a very cultural and a self-identity need state.
Gaurav, very quick, like if I were to ask you the first coffee that comes to your mind, the coffee brand that comes to your mind.
Actually, third wave. The goss is that they change their menu every 2 months. Reason for that is that there's so many of these startup folks working out of these places now. They have to retain that big chunk of people coming there with their laptops, with their headphones, actually working out of their outlets. They have to kind of change them.
Ruchira, do you feel that Nescafe is somehow, the market leader overall in general, still like from a sales point of view, but then generally the leader in terms of overall bringing the whole culture of coffee around connections to India? Are they losing their relevance?
They are sticking to their core audience, which is the more middle class consumer, the consumer who's still looking for affordable coffee every day.
I agree with Ruchira. Nescafe is probably looking at creating innovations around packs and pricing. For example, they've introduced coffee in cans now, right? But they've been, kind of slicing and dicing more around where are the opportunities outside of this whole cafe culture occasions. Right?
So from a sales point of view, considering it's an underpenetrated market, like Gaurav, you said, it makes sense. They'll continue to grow, they'll continue to do well. But as far as mind space is concerned, the space they had before with previous generations versus for Gen Zers or Alphas, it's very different, right? So for them, it's just another brand. So they need to, I think, more evolve in terms of their thought leadership.
What's going to happen is, I think, a lot of these new brands are going to mushroom. You're going to have these small moments that Ruchira was talking about within the larger occasion set. So this coffee which helps me sleep, this coffee which helps me sort of keep going. So all of these premium brands will start, kind of this intermediating, if I may say so, and take away sort of some consumers, a small chunk of consumers towards them. That's my sense of how I see.
We're going to my almost extreme segmentation, right, of moments and target audiences, and therefore brands, especially the younger brands, they're okay to take a smaller pie of the larger chunk of the market and go sharpshoot for it. So, however, there is a mass market which is still very much accessible in a price conscious market like India, and that is where I guess the large brands like Nescafe will continue to play.
Until next time, bye.